And welcome back, everybody, to Season 2 of the Universal Open, presented by Brisk and 7-Eleven. It's time for our third match of the day. Now, if this one lives up to any of the expectations that have been set by the first two, I have no idea what we're going to see. So let's get into this one. Complexity versus Fnatic is our game number 3, gentlemen. Let's reset a little bit. We've had a little bit of a break right now after those insane first 2 games. If you just joined us, of course, welcome along. Complexity and Fnatic, tell me about these 2 teams. This is an upper bracket game, so at least we're not sending anyone home in the end of this one.
Yeah, so Maestro and Snasky teamed up last season, I believe, and they kind of trucked through the rival series, and then they went up into the rival series. You can't go from the rival series to the rival series. They went rival series to the RLCS, and had a bit of a rough go, to say the least. The offensive performance from all of them across the board went way down, so I think 2v2, you'll at least get to see a bit more of what those guys are capable. Because, you know, Maestro used to be a big goal scorer, Snasky as well, and then it kind of all just took a nosedive here. So this is sort of again, similar for Mouse and them, get the wheels turning for the RLCS, say, all right, offense starts now.
Okay, and on the other side of things, Complexity. Fan favorites.
Fan favorites, but also the swan song for them. Metznaris will be moving on.
Very true.
It might be the last time we ever see Magnus and Metznaris playing together. The long-standing Finnish duo that has just been around for so long
right now.
But what better way than to finish it? They've always found themselves in the shadow of Dignitas. They've they're still a team that have been waiting for so long for their first major tournament victory. We're talking RLCSs. We're talking Universal Open. We're even talking about the International World Cup, where we put together teams from their own nationalities, and even then, only just ended up missing out. This is their last opportunity to try and change the story and take a win for themselves. Now, the good news for them, the team that has always been beating them is in the lower bracket at this point. Dignitas can't really bite them unless they drop themselves. So for Complexity, this is all down to them.
Okay, well, it would be a nice story, wouldn't it? Because we've been following these guys for a while, and you know, Metznaris, big fan favorite, as we know. Always a smile on that guy's face as well. So very excited to see those guys play. And secretly, I'm going to be honest, you know, it's not that secret. I'm rooting for you guys. I'm going to put it out there. They're lovely guys. So the teams are joining in right now. And for some reason, you know, we've just had like an insane first 2 series.
Yes.
I feel like we're just going to have a nice sedate one here. Do you know what I mean? Just a nice, easy, like a 3-1.
Can you not see? I'm sat bolt upright right now. I'm terrified.
No way that is happening. Absolutely no way. We wouldn't have it any differently. So let's get into our third game of the series. Spring some more surprises for us. It's Complexity versus Fnatic.
There we go. It is going to be an RLCS showdown. Complexity. Both these teams in the upper bracket. One of them will be going down, and Metznaris, quick challenge, puts the first goal on the board.
So a really great start here for Complexity. Maestro in an awkward spot in the backfield, and Snasky just couldn't get a handle on that dribble, could only drive it in a straight line, and gets it turned right back around in front of the box, and pretty much the same scenario for Maestro. Just no ability to change the course of that ball.
So Fnatic find themselves down early. It's going to be an open ball to try and chase after, and Maestro will win it, giving a little bit of pressure over on the side of Fnatic. Nice shot. Yet another double commit. Complexity need to cut those out. Magnus considered by many to be top 3, maybe even the best freeze player in the world by many of the pros I've spoken to. Just still looking for that result to sort of cement it. It was the same thing we were talking about when it comes to Fairy Peak. Looking for that first big one, and that is going to be a big goal for Magnus. 2-0. Complexity rocking and rolling.
Thought for sure Snasky was going to be able to reach this one, but took a bit of a weird angle. I think he would have had the cut in, but decided to go a little bit further back, ended up putting himself on the back wall, and just delayed him getting across the front of the net there.
Snasky's got ball. Metznaris has boost. Puts it up high. Metznaris with the follow-up. 3-0. This is looking like a demolition job.
A little bit a wake-up call for game number 1, and wait, what happened? It just took Maestro so long to react there out of the corner.
It's very lackluster defending from Fnatic. They just seem like they're almost watching their teammate go for the challenges and not positioning for any sort of possibility after that. Metznaris, powerful ball off the backboard. Looking for the follow-up, almost managed to sneak that one in. Snasky tries to put that over to his teammate, but once again, too fast is Complexity.
Ooh.
Team that used to pride themselves on being the fastest team in the world, at least according to themselves.
Every team's the fastest team in the world according to themselves.
In twos, that speed suddenly becomes even more worthwhile. You can beat one player that's to the ball. That is half the team gone. Back out. Magnus with another shot, and it is gonna go in. 4-0.
Maestro short a couple of pixels on the car length here. So close. Perfect placement from Magnus, though. The crazy part is it could have been even further to the right and just given no chance, but got it just around the front, and Metza and Magnus are kind of... It's a bit of a stomp right now.
At this point in time, we all know points aren't everything, but a combined 90 right now on the side of Fnatic. They just haven't got going just yet. It's been all Complexity. Off the wall. Drops down. Metznaris can control. Only puts that back into the path of Maestro. Good infield pass there from Magnus over to Snasky. Not quite the pairings that you'd expect to hear. But it really does seem, Achieves, like, unless Fnatic can kickstart, this game might already be over.
Honestly, yeah. There's a little bit sluggish approach on offense. They're getting beat to almost every single ball. And again, this one gets punted off the bar at least and stays out of the net. But Maestro and Snasky just cannot get a hold of anything. And anything they do get a hold of is just sniffed out immediately.
Maestro trying to flick. Metznaris won't be there for the challenge, and instead it's Magnus again. Required for the save. First opportunity to really start opening up Complexity for Fnatic. Just keep bouncing that ball off the backboard, and eventually Magnus gets a huge clear across the entire field. Snasky right down the middle. As the opportunity to continue, that will be requiring Magnus. Metznaris, I should say.
Stringing together.
Wow, what a save that was. Magnus just trapping it.
And they're stringing together a couple of good chances in order here for Fnatic. Big question is, do they break? And Metza and Magnus again, well coordinated, spent so much time together. And like you said, it all comes to an end most likely after this, which is a bit sad, but it'd be a great way to send it off here with a win in the Universal Open for them.
I wouldn't be too surprised if they were to continue some twos tournaments together.
For sure. They've played too many.
They're just too good at it. There's never been a drop down in performance or results for them. I've seen the end of a lot of great duos over the past few months.
Past few years. There's been some brilliant 2v2 duos across the history of Rocket League, and Metza and Magnus, perhaps the greatest one in recent memory, is this one again finds the back of the net.
It's just all over the pitch right now. Complexity are dominating. And Fnatic just... I'm not going to criticize their offense too much because the game was over before they really could get anything going. And by that point, Complexity could just put players behind the ball and not really worry about the transition.
It was 3-0 at the 4-minute mark.
So I feel like there's a lot still to find out about Fnatic's offense. But at the same time, clean sheet is something that really does hit you. Follow up, and it's not going to be a clean sheet. At least they've got that going.
Definitely a good one to at least get the engine turned over, and at least, you know, everything's not completely dead. Metza just has to sit and watch this one, and that is just a perfectly placed ball from Maestro right in the corner. And it all stems off a slightly misplayed clear from Metza and Magnus, but, you know, not everybody's perfect.
Magnus puts the ball up high. Snasky wants to put one more in, give that momentum shift over to Fnatic before we head into game number 2. Metznaris clears long. Oh, Snasky's gone for it, and what a goal that is! And that just tells Fnatic that they can do that.
Absolutely. It's a great setup from Maestro high in front of the box. Metza's facing the wrong way, so we can't go up for it. Magnus coming in from the opposite side, and Snasky's, you know, he's been using the dominance for a long time. He knows how to hit the ball hard with it.
There's plenty of power. time does tick away. Those will only be consolation goals for Fnatic.
But they feel good.
But they've got to feel good, especially when that second one went in. That was not handed to them. They worked real hard. But onset Complexity just stole it within the first minute.
Yeah, I was going to say, they came out the gates like a house on fire. That was a crazy, crazy start from them. And then towards the end of the game, I think Fnatic initially probably just a little bit shell-shocked about what they ran into at the start of that game. And Metzer and Magnus just, as I say, just turning up and bringing the fire. But they did show towards the end of the game and towards the middle period of the game, once it just calmed down a little bit, they started to grow into that game a little bit. And I'd be expecting maybe a bit of a tighter game in this game number 2.
Yeah, absolutely. There was a couple of chances there in the middle of that ground. They didn't score any of those chances, but they were at least able to string a couple of opportunities over on the blue net together. Metzer and Magnus played some pretty solid defense, but it was really that last 30 seconds or so from Fnatic that said, okay, look, we know what we're doing. Definitely taking a task a little bit early on, and I think they avoid that in round 2.
Yeah, it's not the first time that we've seen it this tournament where the opening minute is just such a romping from one team that there's pretty much no comeback at that point. So game 2, I expect to see it be a lot more competitive, but Fnatic, despite the fact that it's game 1, they're now in a little bit of a trouble zone because this next game seems like a must-win.
Yeah, and I think every single team that's in the upper bracket at the moment is going to be looking at the lower bracket and thinking every game in this upper bracket is a must-win, because it gets to a point where the upper bracket almost looks more inviting than the lower bracket, because
the upper bracket's always more inviting.
Exactly. Well, that's true, but you know what?
It's the upper bracket.
Very facetious today, Achieves. So I'm not sure what you've had in the weekend.
You guys are rubbing off on me.
Don't worry about that. That's very true. Do you know what? I'm kind of happy about it.
Yeah, we're very proud of you, Achieves.
Yeah, now we finally brought him down to our level.
We want you to be very arrogant towards people, but not us.
Yeah, other people. That's what we're looking
people.
for. But I mean, a 5-2 victory, a goals galore. Again, gentlemen, we've got 7 goals in our first game there, which is always good. We're keeping an eye on that record of goal scored. But it was 107.
107.
107
We're at 70 now.
record.
We're 70 now.
It's very doable, is all I'm going to say for that one. But let's talk about game number 2 a little bit. Complexity, always great to see these guys playing together. There just seems to be such a natural chemistry between these two players. Obviously, they've been playing a while and been able to hone it, but certain players you can just tell everything just sort of seems to fall into place for them at times.
Yeah, I mean, Metzer and Magnus, they've been playing together since, what, early 2016? Maybe even before that, for all we know. And it's been, you know, you spend thousands upon thousands of hours playing with the same person, 3s, 2s. It doesn't matter. It comes a point, you know, you stop talking about the game and you start joking about what you had for dinner and what your mom was talking about, and you're still scoring these crazy, ridiculous passing plays because it's just that ingrained in how they approach the game.
Okay, so for Fnatic here, obviously got to stop that initial rush coming out in the start of the game from Complexity. They kind of took them back a little bit. But, I mean, what would your suggestions be to them in this second game?
Obviously, don't have that first minute that you did have, but at the same time, keep those passing plays going. Once they started to find each other, they were doing a very good job of opening up very nice shooting opportunities.
Okay, then, well, game number 2 looks like it is loading in the background. If you're just joining us, of course, make sure you tweet the stream, because there's some crazy Rocket League going on at the moment. We want to get as many people in here as we can and keep an eye out for some more upsets, some more craziness in our game number 3. That was the most calm game we've had so far. So let's get into our second game. Hopefully this one will spice it up a little bit. It's our second game of the series between Complexity and Fnatic.
Have to agree with onset. Make sure you tweet out hashtag UOS2. We start ourselves off. Great shot there from Snasky.
If you ask me, that's a bit of a wake-up call for Magnus and Metzer. You know, you kind of feel like you strolled through game number 1. You get a poor kickoff, and no one's able to recover, and Snasky says, welcome to the party. We're back in it.
So now, it's going to be Fnatic starting off on the front foot. We've already had 2 game 5s today. It wouldn't be beyond expectation for us to see another one. Fnatic 2-0.
Okay, another poor kickoff. Magnus prioritizes the boost, and Maestro, that's a perfect catch. Nothing you can do about it.
Seeing a lot more kickoff goals in Europe compared to any of the North American regions.
Certainly close.
I'd say a lot
there
more.
There were a couple of series that you really felt like there were a lot of kickoff goals, but just today, absolutely, a lot of kickoff goals.
So now, we've been 10 seconds without a goal. I feel somewhat robbed at this point in time.
Impatient.
Impatient, like, give me more.
We're already at 72, Shogun.
Yeah, it's
not even halfway through.
It's been a crazy week so far. Maestro to the top far corner. Monks won't be able to follow that, and that's a shooting opportunity. Metsnaris did recognize it. Snasky slowly coming in. And now an opportunity to try and transition. Magnus, one-on-one. That was different. I will give you the title of different
and
for
you
that
have
shot.
you got to wonder if he dropped the dribble or if he was really just trying to throw Maestro off his game. Either way, here's another one-on-one.
It looks like it was like a fake flick where he was trying to fake out the first touch and then roll into it for the second side of the car. I don't know, man. Mechanics are getting too far
anything could
today.
happen at this point.
Oh, wow. See, one goal back. Complexity. Finding quite a hard angle to hit.
Yeah, Snasky just not able to get a very good clear. Maestro, not sure what he was doing going up the back wall. Maybe thinking Snasky was going to leave this one. This is just an awkward breakdown in the corner for Snasky and Maestro, and Metz is like, okay, thank you, I guess.
That's Norris. Chooses to put off the backboard, as Magnus will be the first player there. Snasky launches it again. It'll be Maestros. Both these teams just trading possession. Trying to pick up some territory.
Man, that was such a smart fake challenge from Magnus. He jumped up almost immediately just to force Maestro to make a decision with what he was going to do with that ball.
And now one ball whiff has put the pressure on Fnatic. Their lead is tenuous. Metsnaris beats that challenge. Now Snasky can go to the other side of the field. Can they re-establish that 2-goal lead? No, Magnus there just in time.
A little bit of a rush touch there from Metsnaris. Maybe thinking Magnus had more boost to work with than he actually did.
Metsnaris will turn. Maybe an infield pass. Magnus there. Off the backboard. Snasky can't get around. Oh, just can't get the double tap. Everything was set up so well. But you've got to finish those.
Absolutely. They had everything set up exactly the way they wanted. They even got the goalie out of the way. It was pretty much free.
Magnus goes for the backboard yet again. Maestro does not take the bait.
Hard cut. Boost steal. Great pressure here over on the orange side by Complexity.
Yeah, but it looks like it could just be about to break down. Snasky will have the ball free, but he just looks a little bit lost. But that demo will give the ball to Maestro. He's going to try and race the demo clock. He can't quite get there in time.
Snasky giving up the midfield there. Free chance for Complexity, and thankfully he got a chance. They spread out a little too wide. Slight miscommunication.
Now off the backboard. Magnus taps the ball onwards. Complexity trying to probe for that second goal. Just about 100 seconds left. Snasky off the backboard. He's got a follow-up, and Maestro is behind him. Metsnaris just should have been pressured maybe a little bit more, but at the same time, Fnatic, they don't need to overcommit. They've got the 1-goal lead.
Exactly. You can really almost feel that Snasky and Maestro.
They're happy for this scoreline, and that's going to be a great block shot. Maestro just saw that one coming.
How does this one find its way through? It's a great first touch. Metz is facing the wrong way at first, so he has to give a little bit of extra ground, and Maestro makes the perfect read on the challenge angle, and it's a great dunk. Nothing else to it.
2-goal lead for Fnatic. Are we about to go one game each? 0 boost on Magnus. That might just open up some space. Metsnaris just taps that one straight down to his teammate. One challenge, one. Almost managed to win a second, but now it's Snasky with the pressure back on. And Magnus will be very happy to see that that boost has just turned up. That does mean that they can at least put some pressure on the orange side of the field. Double tap attempted. It's being followed. Off the backboard. And Magnus, that shot will not trouble the Fnatic defense, and more time gone.
A tough couple of asks for Magnus and Metze here in these last couple of seconds, but they just haven't been able to turn in these really tough chances. And we talked a lot about, over on the NA side of things, Shogun, how you need to convert even just your half chances. It becomes doubly true in Europe, you know? You don't get that many free quality scoring opportunities, and you got to be able to take advantage of every little thing.
I mean, the one big opportunity we can look at right now was that off the backboard aerial hit that really should have gone in. That could have spelled a whole different game, but for this one, it is all Fnatic. They will be taking game number 2, 3-1.
It's going to be a game 5, isn't it?
It is going to be
It's going to be a game 5. What a surprise. It's Fnatic who take our game number 2 there. Pretty commanding performance from them. Couple of missed opportunities on the complexity side.
Yep.
But Fnatic, they managed to avoid that first crazy minute, like you mentioned, and they managed to pull out the win.
I mean, it was their own first crazy minute. They got 2 goals to start us off, and really it was then all down to complexity to try and make the comeback. And we're seeing right now, Achieve's brought it up, you're not going to get many opportunities, and you've got to convert when you get them.
And you know, credit where credit's due, Maestro and Snasky, they did have to make 6 saves that game. Only 2 of them were really solid, had to be made ones, but other than that, Metza and Magnanorus? Magnanorus, yeah. They tried to get things home this game, and to be fair, they got a couple of chances on offense. That's all you can really ask, but it's Maestro and Snasky, and it was the resurgence of, I think, what we expected out of them on offense, but credit, all of it has to go to Maestro. You know?
Yeah.
Snasky got a couple of great clears, but otherwise, it was Maestro doing a lot of that individual effort work down in front of the blue net.
I mean, Maestro, his story is... it almost feels unfair to him at times because he's one of those players that probably should have a world championship to his name. He's got it as a sub.
So?
He wants to earn that for himself.
I'm just saying, he does!
The difference between...
Gregan's got an RLCS title, okay? We're not counting that one either.
I was going to say,
True.
the difference between a champion and a...
Yeah, Mr. ESL monthly champion, yeah.
I was there, and it's a monthly elite, my friend. Let's not give me too much credit.
Sorry.
Anyway, let's talk about this following game, because obviously we're tied up at 1-1. The swing game again, and it seems to... Momentum didn't affect the first series that we saw too much, nor the second series. So, I mean, we could call it a swing game, but at this point, every game is a standalone game, isn't it? In these series, it is that competitive here in Europe. But, I mean, the way that Fnatic played here, I'm expecting a really tight game in this game number 3 here. It's kind of felt like both teams have started to feel each other out a little bit. It's going to be interesting to see if one team tries to change something up, though. Yeah,
I think it's a lot to ask Maestro to be able to pull off those individual effort plays again. Definitely going to need a little bit more support from Snasky. Not that he wasn't supporting, it's just the offensive push to actually score a goal is going to have to be a much more involved process, I think, for Fnatic.
Okay, then. Well, game number 3, of course, is usually the swing game in a series. Momentum can carry through and carry you through to a series win. I believe that our game number 3 is pretty much ready to go, so we'll get into that as soon as we can. Predictions for game 3?
Fnatic.
One word. Fnatic?
Yeah, Fnatic.
Your first word was, that's not a team. The 2 teams are Complexity and Fnatic.
You want to get all of the predictions to go your way. Name your team.
One of them.
Every prediction will go your way in the future. It's going to be a long ball. Metznaris can just control immediately off and tries to fake out Maestro. It's now Snasky. He's got to try and buy some time for his teammate. Pass is off, and pass is very off. That needed to be slightly better from Metza. Follow up. Straight down the middle. Snasky just take that one over for himself. But Complexity trying to lock down this final third. Don't want to allow Fnatic too much space.
Got great pressure out of the midfield, though. Snasky and Maestro really struggling to clear the ball in this first minute.
There's Magnus. He's got the follow-up, but doesn't aim for it. Instead, it's Metznaris. Almost won 2 challenges straight.
And it continues.
And we've got a whole minute down, and neither team has scored.
That's actually the fastest minute I think I've ever experienced.
It's just sort of over at this point.
But Metza and Magnus, full control right now in this game number 3. There's a double commit. Here's the chance to go down the other way.
Yep, not so many of those because you can get punished for it just like that.
And that is actually the worst feeling in the world. You've got great pressure. Yes, you haven't put too many quality chances on target, but you've kept up possession of the ball. And that's where it all starts, holding onto the ball. And all it takes is that one double commit, that one breakdown in communication, and immediately pounced on.
Maestro. Set it up for himself, but instead it'll be Metznaris chasing it. Infield from Snasky, though, covered by Magnus. That's a good bit of contact, forces out the player. There's going to be no follow-up. Yet another double commit. Complexity, they need to start cleaning these up.
Definitely a little bit antsy here. To be fair, they've had to dive across the net out of the corners. They haven't had time to look and see if anyone's there. There's a demo, though. Far post, Maestro diving stop.
Metznaris. It's back over, but Magnus hasn't got the boost. He's going to be slightly late. Force the player off the wall. I'm sure he'll feel just as comfortable. Tries to force the challenge, but Snasky does well, and now Maestro with another win. It's going to be down to Magnus. I think he's been cut up, and he has. 2 goals to nothing. Fnatic looking to go 2-1 up in series.
Another reason to use the Dominus. It's really short, but even though so, that was actually totally Maestro. Now I'm sad because I thought Snasky got under the bottom of Magnus there and clipped him up into the air. But either way, it's the 2-on-1 back the other way, and Magnus can't recover, man.
Snasky. Putting that straight back over to Complexity, who have again got to make a comeback. Game 1 feels like such a long time ago now. Fnatic just seem comfortable just to take their one or two opportunities. And as we said, Fnatic, they've not required too much of a space to create their chances.
Especially not in this game.
That's Norris. Never does some space. It's on 0 boost, so it's going to be pretty hard. He has to try and force a challenge. Still going. And he's managed to pick up some speed just for the constant flipping.
Oh, look at Snasky. Wide spread of the field.
Just couldn't get the ball under control. That's Norris. Finds himself a little bit too far forward. Got Magnus in the middle, but instead tries to go long.
Pass across.
Magnus with the follow-up. Complexity have been here a couple of times previously. Struggled to convert. That is another great challenge from Fnatic. Maestro over the top. There's the third. And once again, Fnatic just need a small opening and they can create whatever they want.
That is not a good touch at all by Metza. He's got to let that one roll past him and take it into the corner and grab some boost. And I don't know, man. Sometimes you lose your head and you just make a bad play. You shake your head and you know what you did wrong. You move on.
Now, it does seem to me like Complexity are panicking in situations where they really don't have to. The first goal coming from a double commit over to the side. This third one from just a ball that really wasn't anything dangerous. Could have even been left to roll. But now a huge comeback required, otherwise this will be match point for Fnatic.
And the crazy thing is does it go in?
No. But Maestro will be there just in time. And that's got to feel so bad for Complexity.
That one hurts almost just as bad as that first missed opportunity. You spend the entire first minute on offense, and then you give up the most avoidable of goals, and now you get another gimme right in front of the net, and it goes off the bar and stays out.
The defense from Fnatic has just been so good.
Rough game 3.
The only goal that Complexity have managed to score in the last 2 games came off a read from trying to predict where the ball will be passed off to. Apart from that, Fnatic looking like a brick wall. There's something to be said when you're not forced into too many defensive saves. It means you're doing your job properly as a defender. Once again, they just require one midfield challenge. They almost put in their 4th. But with 15 seconds left, Fnatic look to have secured this matchup. Metanaris.
Okay.
A lovely bit of individual play. It's taken him 6 shots, but finally managed to break Fnatic down.
Make a nice little figure S here in the midfield, and that's just Snasky and Maestro saying, okay, I don't know how we got beat by that, but we did. Good dribble.
It'll always just be a few pixels off. Magnus.
Sure
required to go for that, but as Maestro with the challenge, just trying to secure this game for his team. And he has done exactly that. Fnatic are on match point.
Very much on match point, and that felt like a boa constrictor there for Fnatic. They really didn't give hardly anything to Complexity in that game. It was a pretty solid performance all round from them. Really controlled the pace of the game in that one.
Yeah, except for that first minute, it became very much a midfield battle. And Snasky and Maestro handled the clears for Metza and Magnus, didn't really let them get any super dangerous dribbles, started no bounce dribbles, not any super crazy good first touches, beating defenders. It was really just a well-defended game out of the midfield, I felt like.
But it's quite curious, though, because they're only challenging the midfield when they know they can win. How many times do you remember a 2v1 for Complexity on Fnatic? They only go for it when they know that there's not even going to be a challenge involved, but when they can get a clean bit of contact. For Fnatic, this has just been expertly played. This really has not required any mechanical genius. It's just smart plays. And sometimes you just require that little bit of smart play to take down some of the best teams.
And you say it time and time again, you know, challenging is positioning and timing. And Maestro and Snasky managed that to a T this game. They have a ton of saves, but it's not like they were that one is the only one that was really dangerous, you know? And even then, it wasn't super scary because it just stayed right on the line. And it was just a matter of hitting it out.
There was that good note to end on, as we always look for a team who maybe take that loss. Is, you know, a fantastic goal from Metznaurus towards the end, just to give them that little bit of confidence. One of those ones that just puts a little smile on your face if you're in chat with your teammate and you go, oh, that was nice. Like, yeah, it was. Let's get into the next game. That sort of thing. So we all know what's going to happen in the next game.
It's going to be game 5.
It's Complexity about to win this next game. Probably 5-4. Probably 6-7. There's going to be 1 goal in it. I mean, we're predicting the future here, but it's as good as obvious at this point. And then we have a game 5. So who's winning the game 5, gentlemen?
I think you just
Let's talk about game 4 first, though. Let's talk about game 4 first, because it is now up to Complexity to force the issue a little bit. Obviously, they've got to win 2 back-to-back here. Fnatic, they controlled the game in that last one. What do you want to see Complexity try in this one?
I don't know. I feel like they've tried the dribble plays a lot in games 1 through 3. I'd maybe get the wider spread of the field, go for those lateral passes, see if the Snasky and Maestro positioning is good enough to read those as well. I mean, I don't think we've seen them really try that too much now that I think about it.
Yeah, it definitely seems like a lot of them trying to play out from their side of the field has always been dribble plays, which isn't necessarily something I've ever really associated with
either of
Complexity.
them.
So I think it's time to start trying to bring out the passing plays, open up Fnatic a little bit.
Okay, well, you heard what the guys on the desk want to see from Complexity.
Exactly.
They're playing tomorrow. Complexity is who we're talking about, obviously. Now it's time to get into the game because it is game number 4. At the moment, Fnatic up 2-1. They are on 2 match points now to take our 3rd series of the day. The game is live. Let's get straight into this one. Obviously, Complexity, they've got it all to do.
And Fnatic have got a good start for this.
No.
Off the backboard and straight in. And this is the worst case scenario for Complexity because Fnatic have not dropped a lead yet. Whoops. Don't worry, Chiefs. It gets better.
Jeez, man. That's just brutal.
This kickoff once again, Fnatic getting so much mileage from just winning these kickoffs. It's time to change if you're Complexity. Metznaurus straight back out, but Magnus is not on that far side. He was down the middle. Goes by himself, back out. It's not that immediate follow-up so far from Complexity. Fnatic, they've done so well from the leads previously. Dropping a second one, Complexity would just be... I almost would call the game at that point, just how well Fnatic have been playing. But this is going to be their chance. Magnus has got to hit a tight angle, and he's going to grab it.
I was so worried that Magnus might have rushed this one just a little bit. It was definitely a breakaway attempt, but he had no boost, and boy, did he not want to waste any time. Snasky right on his tail. And, you know, kudos to Magnus. There's a reason that he was one of the biggest goal scorers for this team as long as they were together. And, you know, Magnus continues to impress with his shooting from everywhere on the field. Now
Maestro's got the ball in his hood. Snasky's on the far side, but it looks like Maestro's thinking all about himself. And he's got 2 players committed. That's some boost out as well on the side of Complexity. Another demo. Metznaurus, though, already up in the air. Does give the ball back over to Fnatic. Remember, if you win today, you get to skip tomorrow completely.
Wouldn't that be nice?
And just go straight into the
straight into giving yourselves
matchups.
2 chances to qualify.
Even then, I wouldn't feel comfortable.
Feel more comfortable than everyone in the blender.
Oh, tomorrow is just... I don't want to be there. It's going to be great to watch. It'll be awful to play. Snasky clearing it out well to Maestro. It's another challenge, though, from Magnus. Complexity looking to try and lock down. Got to start stealing some of these back boosts, though, from Fnatic, because so far that defense has been stalwart and just unable to break down. But Snasky with another big clear. Metznaurus needs to do a bit more, and that is a very interesting pinch. As with most teams, I'm sure they meant it.
Obviously. Oh, that's a good tackle by Metz and Magnus. Have a chance for a pass now and just can't keep it close enough off that side wall. They get a slight opening, and then again, the capitalization on it just isn't there.
Maestro, that's off the backboard. Metznaurus might have just set it up for Snasky. Here's Maestro with the follow and off the crossbar.
Huge recovery there from Metza out on the left side of the box, but Snasky and Maestro pushing hard right now.
Yep, they're looking for that one goal that could send them through.
2 in a row.
And for Fnatic, they've got 2 and a bit minutes to hold on.
2 unfortunate happenstances in a row. Bar down, off one player, into the other defender, straight into the net. It's bad to worse.
Metz is going to be banned from the 6-yard box. Not because he's making mistakes, but because you just don't want a chance anymore. As this time it's a kickoff going over to the side of Complexity. They haven't had much luck with this recently, but when they need it, it works.
And this one goes straight up. It's pretty much the exact opposite of the first one. Magnus is just a little bit further back and says, yay, it's free. An interesting game 4 to say the least, Shogun.
What was it the onset said? 4, 5, 6, 7? He might not be wrong at this point. Infield. Snasky with the drop down. Magnus by himself, and that's a very heavy first touch. Fnatic looking to lock down in this final third. Maestro going up the wall. I mean, no challenges for the longest time. Complexity happy just to sit back and wait for the ball to come to them. Now Magnus challenge win on target. And we have switched the leaders.
And Maestro is going to, or Snasky, excuse me, is going to be a little bit upset. He made the decision to turn around and challenge that. Mostly because, I mean, even if Magnus hits that ball, what's the worst that happens? It goes into the corner and rolls up the wall where you cleared across the net?
Now it's time for Fnatic. For the first time, they're down in a very long time. Complexity stealing boost, really slowing down Fnatic. Ooh, Magnus flips the ball up high. And Maestro with the follow-up. Metznaris' ball is very inviting, but Snasky doesn't go for it for the longest time in his pass to Maestro. Pretty far off. Now Magnus gonna go off the backboard. A lot of these passes not really finding their intended mark.
Ooh, tough read here.
Maestro just trying to take it down for himself. Magnus again slowing down the pace. It's not been too fast ever since they took the lead. It's just Complexity consistently taking the ball under their own control and trying to force a challenge. Back out. Halfway line currently controlled by Complexity. Though Magnus has missed and Maestro just wants this ball down on the other side of the field. He stole boost as well. Metznaris might have opened up some space for Snasky to move into, but on the far side it will be Magnus chasing up against Maestro. And now the time is ticking away. Magnus is gonna go off! Score his 4th! When you need someone to step up, Magnus is your man.
And that touch out of the corner to cut it into the middle of the box was actually the cherry on top of that whole thing. Oh, cut it out away from the defender. Snasky and Maestro were like, oh, we're in a bad spot. And boy, did Magnus prove him right.
It almost doesn't feel like a good prediction at this point whenever we say Game 5. Because yet again, we're going to deliver yet another one.
Why not?
Ladies and gentlemen, Complexity and Fnatic, 2 games each. Game 5 on the way.
It's a Game 5, baby. That's what I was waiting for. And yeah, I mean, I was one off. I was wrong. I'm sorry, everybody. It was 4-2. It wasn't 4-3. I'm happy to admit I was wrong, but overall I was right. We are having a Game 5. Complexity and especially Magnus taking the game by the scruff of the neck and turning up when it matters.
It was the strangest Game 4, to be completely honest. Magnus a couple of big goals towards the end of that series, but boy, did it start off like a crapshoot for both of these teams. It was kind of like, man, Magnus had to score some tough ones. Maestro and Snasky got a couple of weird ones in their favor, and it was just, you got this full range of what could possibly happen in a 2v2, I felt like, in this one.
I don't even know at this point. Complexity,
I think Shogun's tired. It's become too much for him.
It's so much happening right now and so much to unpack.
There's just not much to say about how this one unfolded, you know?
This one was just Magnus.
Yeah.
Sometimes a player is just playing so much better than everyone else on the field, and that game was Magnus's.
Okay, well. Surprise, surprise, everybody. We've got another Game 5. And
I don't know.
I'd like to see
Don't
the bracket
ask.
again in a minute because I don't know how many Game 5s we've already had across the bracket because it's certainly a record, especially on day number 1. To have 3 Game 5s in a row is just insane. So we were excited about this week, and this is exactly why. Shogun's still grinning over there. He's just in heaven. He's in Rocket League heaven at the moment. He's just like Game 5s, just Game 5s, just everywhere, and it's great. But you know what I'm going to ask you, don't you?
No, don't ask it.
Don't ask it.
Don't ask it.
Okay.
Are you going to flip the coin again? Was the last one correct? Actually, we never got an answer to this.
Who went through in the last one? What was our last game? It was Vitality.
Mouse one.
I can't remember. Let's do it now. All right, ready?
Yep.
Heads is Complexity, and Tails is Fnatic. Ready?
Okay.
Don't say what it is.
Okay. Got it.
Ooh, okay.
We know.
See,
you
now,
don't
now
know.
I'm going to make my
don't know.
prediction after seeing that.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you don't know whether or not I'm going against it or not. I'm going to go with Complexity.
Oh,
Okay.
Interesting. You're
Good
going with
choice.
Complexity.
Good
Who are you
choice.
going with a choose?
I like Fnatic.
You get. I love this.
Right
I love
down
this.
the middle.
It's down the middle.
I'm so happy because some of these people that I get a cast of achieves, they sit on the fence. There ain't no fence of you, all right?
It's all
Until
or
it's
nothing
day
with the
2.
Chiefs.
Until it's day 2.
Yeah. Until someone has to go out the tournament, I'm not sure. But anyway, Game 5 is ready to go, I believe. Let's get into this one. Game 5 between Complexity and Fnatic. Who's going to drop down to the losers bracket?
Maestro on his hood, and this great start from him. Metznaris, though,
Oh, wow.
immediately under his control. Game 5 exploding into play.
And you may ask why I said Fnatic, and it's mostly because I don't believe Magnus is capable of just outplaying everybody on the orange team again this game. There's no way that happens. It's Game 5.
Complexity, known for stepping up to the plate, though. Only team consistently to beat them is Dignitas.
Very true.
Complexity against the Fnatic team that is looking to resurge after a pretty poor RLCS season for their standards. Snasky, he's got the follow.
Man, some aggressive midfield play.
They're both actively searching for this first goal.
Yeah, Fnatic, Maestro and Snasky willing to just wheel around and make a play here. Snasky tries to go straight sideways just to buy a little bit of time for Maestro. It works out too, and it's close. Bar and out. Not the bar, the back wall, excuse me.
The post. Don't worry, we'll teach you it.
Thank you.
Maestro goes long. Just going to be handed over to Magnus. That's the performances he's been having. Almost don't know if I'd want to do that, but now it's going to be Metznaris! Oh, just saved by Maestro. But Magnus going to keep that pressure up. Unrelenting from both of these teams. 90 seconds have gone. I don't know where they went. Just within...
We're going to have a low-scoring game. Oh, there it is.
Maestro just dances past Magnus, and that's goal number 1 to Fnatic.
Let's take a look out of this touch out of the corner. That first one to get through Metza throws Magnus for a loop. Magnus is waiting in that corner saying, all right, Metza's going to get this next touch. Even if Maestro gets a hit, it's not going to be a good one, and Maestro surprises everybody on the field with a little bouncer off the side wall. It's pretty.
Maestro has 4 shots already this game.
Cruising, baby.
It's not even 2 minutes in. Looking to keep it going, Metznaris. 1 goal each. And that is such a quick response.
Perfect first touch off the wall, right in front of the nose, and just drives this one into the top. Snasky's upset he didn't get up high enough.
Well, Snasky, I think he saw how over the top of the ball Metznaris was for the first touch.
Just didn't
Realistically,
think, yeah, he's going to have to drive it
sort of
down.
looked like it was just going to keep going downwards, but somehow Metza got himself under the ball again. The little trick when it comes to air dribbles is just convincing your opponent that you've got 1 less touch in you than you actually do.
How hard could it be? It's just 1 touch.
Magnus by himself. It's a huge challenge win, and Snasky will be out for the time being. 2v1. Maestro by himself, but Magnus went right down the middle. Now
a
pass
pass.
straight off over to Magnus! On target, 2 goals to 1.
And that's actually the passing that I'm used to seeing out of these guys in the 3v3 arena. You know, it's so easy for Metza to get too ahead of himself and just launch a weak shot at the net, but a perfect drop-off to Magnus coming out of the corner. And brilliant execution from Complexity to score that one.
Still plenty of time left. Maestro over the top.
Wow.
Neither team has managed to hold on to their lead for more than a few seconds. Both of them have had one.
But it is a back and forth, and that's all I wanted out of Game 5. And we get another kickoff goal today, Shogun. I stopped counting how many of those we've had today. I've given up on that.
Something that both teams have been happy to commit towards. Those kickoffs, you're going to win some, you're going to lose some, but both of them are happy to throw their hat into that ringer. Magnus will be back by himself. Since I feel like I'm saying quite a lot recently. Ooh.
Time to see.
Maestro tries just to catch Magnus.
Oh,
He might have actually grabbed something from this. Metznaris is forced to try and bail out. He keeps it close to the wall. And that's another challenge win from Magnus. Can't get a hold of the boost.
Oh, man.
It's an 11 boost.
Both teams making some really weird touches out in the corners of their own half. And
listen, strategies are for games 1 through 4. Game 5, just go for it.
Just hit the ball really hard.
Just get hold of the ball and see where it takes you. Never clear. Magnus can actually follow it up. Just didn't have the boost to really get decent contact. But he has stolen some of Fnatic's. It's a 100 boost on Maestro.
Oh,
That shouldn't hurt too much just yet, but the longer this ball stays in the orange side, the more these boost steals will start to hurt.
Really like that touch from Maestro, not trying to do too much. That's a great challenge out of the midfield. 1-2, and it's off to the left-hand side of the net. Close one. The execution on the final touch, not there.
And Metznaris was caught. Good challenge this time around. Metza back out to Snaski. Oh. And Magnus, brick wall and all.
Oh, another one.
In front of the net.
Oh,
but it just seems like it's going to be Fnatic at this point in time. Throwing everything at the defense of Complexity. Metznaris challenged late by Maestro. Definitely not one that he did see coming. Snaski, low boost, trying to make the most of it.
Oh,
Gets the demo, but Metznaris helping out his teammate.
And it is Fnatic just reaching into the whole bag of tricks and saying, stop this one, stop this one, stop this one. And Magnus and Metz have found an answer to every single one of them.
And
brilliant.
It seems like Metznaris that is doing the most here. Magnus often found out of position because he's just been trailing on boost for so long. Finally, Complexity able to break the stranglehold of Fnatic.
Gonna have to waste a lot there. Free ball.
Magnus can't trap anything. Now we've switched sides. It's Complexity's turn. Metznaris!
Oh my gosh.
3-2. And Fnatic have got to find something, otherwise they will be knocked down to the lower brackets.
And Maestro was so sad. He was waiting so long for that corner boost to spawn, and he took himself up on the back wall, just didn't know where he wanted to defend from, and not in a good spot.
But it's a kickoff, and it's a Fnatic chance. This is where they've had so many. And you can see Complexity recognized it. They sent nobody on the cheat. They were waiting for it. As Magnus with it down.
Oh, what a save.
Huge save from Maestro. Metznaris with an early challenge. As soon as this ball hits the floor, it will be game over. Metznaris on target. Will not matter. Complexity take a stunning Game 5 win.
Unbelievable stuff here in week number 5 of the Universal Open. What else can we ask for? We've had Game 5s every series so far today. What a game that was as well. And I mean, the man who we didn't talk about too much on Complexity, stepping up in that last game, Metznaris, a couple of incredible goals to win that series. I'm so excited, I'm punching the desk right now.
I do. It was a great series all the way through. Maestro and Snaski fought, and you have to absolutely give massive props to Complexity in that, 2 to 1 minute time period in this entire game. It was just Maestro and Snaski pulling everything out of the hat and demanding that they, tell them how they did it, and they answered it every single time. Brilliant defense.
Fnatic, they're going down, but they barely lost this series. Just one thing that caught them out. And yeah, I mean, it was a great game from Metznaris. The game started off all about Maestro. Really, Maestro had a fantastic game for himself.
Both of them had a fantastic game.
I mean, that Game 5 felt like a culmination. It felt like both teams had learned from each other. I cannot overstate how that very last kickoff is sort of like the tell of, we respect you.
Yes.
We respect you too much. We are not going to play this game, because as soon as that kickoff happened, Complexity sat on the goal line and said, we're not going to chance this. This is our game now. We don't want this to go past us off a kickoff.
Okay, well, what has been another fantastic series between two teams here in Season 2 of the Universal Open. Provided 26 goals during that series. So not the highest scoring of series we've had, but still 26 goals in the bank there. And thanks to our partners over at Soylent, that means 260 meals going to the World Food Program USA. Again, if you want to get involved, head over to wfpusa.org/Universal Open and get involved with what is a fantastic cause. But gentlemen, I mean, who we got coming up last? I'll find out very soon. But firstly, let's have a quick Brisk bracket update and let's have a look at how things are looking, because look at the amount of Game 5s that are in this bracket. Have you ever seen a bracket with so many Game 5s in your life? Because the answer, quite simply, is no. And if you say yes, you're a liar. But look at this right now. I mean, we have, look at that lower bracket. Dignicats, 2 Swedes, Fnatic, Mousesports, Dignitas, Method, Vitality out. Team Secret out. I don't know what else to do. I mean, no names right now at the top of that bracket. Complexity and Girls, congratulations to you for making it through to tomorrow. I mean, that is no mean feat whatsoever. But looking at that lower bracket, I mean, gentlemen, I think the Blender's even too
nice. We have to cast that tomorrow?
I look forward to every moment of casting that tomorrow. That is gonna be ridiculous. Whichever 4 of you get through this bracket, and even those ones that we're seeing right now that are at the very end, no names, Complexity Girls, I still wouldn't feel safe if I'm them, because a 0-2 Thursday, I'd see it. I look at these games and just go, it's possible, and it wouldn't even be down to a bad performance from them.
Okay, well, a reminder to all you guys at home to get in touch. Let us know what you think of the action so far tonight. Use the hashtag UOS2. It's above Achieves' head. It's always there. And make sure you follow us over at Universal Open to keep up to date with absolutely everything to do with Season 2 of the Universal Open. We're going to go for one final break. We've brought you 3 Game 5s. I can't promise you another one, but what I can promise you is another incredible game of Rocket League coming up just after this.